She represented our state on the national stage this summer and is currently busy supporting her community and the causes she cares about. It's time to meet Mrs. Indiana, Rachel Stainko, who just happens to be from Lafayette. Good morning, Rachel.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
Well, we're glad you're here. I want to begin with what Mrs. America is about. A lot of people are familiar with Miss USA or Miss America. What's different about this?
Well, obviously the title, Mrs., so you're a married woman. But you know, the unique thing is that Mrs. America was created by the late David Marmel and his wife Elaine Marmel to celebrate women and what we do, not just in our homes, but outside the homes. So I competed many years ago in the Miss America organization. I was a former Miss Purdue. I utilized the scholarships to pay for my undergrad and graduate. Then I got married, had babies, moved on, and you know, in that time of transition, you kind of lose part of who you are. So it's a great way to celebrate that women, when you get married, the person you were, the goals that you have, those don't stop just because of marriage or children. You can still embrace it, and Mrs. America gives women that platform to do so.
And you really got to feel that this summer. Tell us about Las Vegas, where you competed in the national pageant.
So it was a great feeling wearing Indiana across my chest on the national stage. But what I loved about it was I was in Vegas. I don't know how many miles away from here in Lafayette. And as I'm walking through the resort, I hear Mrs. Indiana, Mrs. Indiana, and I met some fellow Purdue alums. So I just love how recognizable it is. You can travel anywhere and you connect with fellow Hoosiers. I'll say that as a Boilermaker. But that was a great experience. But then also just being on stage for my husband to see what I was able to accomplish. My children were back at home watching it, and just knowing that I did it. I did this, a goal that I set forth, and I loved that.
It has to be such an emotional feeling because of the preparation that goes into it. It is about so much more than choosing a dress. Walk us through it.
Yes, it is so much more than just that gown. And honestly, purchasing my gown for nationals was more stressful than my wedding gown. But there is so much more that goes into it. So you have to have a platform, and mine is what I call Strong as a Mother, and that is really truly showcasing women that you can do more and you are more than just a mom. So I've really worked hard to engage with my platform so that when I went to nationals, crown or no crown, what I'm doing now is what I want to do, whether I was Mrs. America or not. And additionally with that, you have the fitness side that you work on. And that was a great thing to include my children in, for them to see mommy working hard for goals. And then also just practicing interview questions with my kiddos over folding laundry.
I've seen a lot of title holders talk about the difference between the crown and the sash. What do they mean by that?
Yeah, so as I kind of said, like whether I won Mrs. America or not, what I'm doing now is what I would do crown or no crown. So having the crown kind of serves as this megaphone so that I can go into the community and promote my cause that I'm passionate about. It makes it a little bit easier, so that I always like to say the crown needs me, I don't need the crown.
So if someone's watching this and they're curious, what would you tell a prospective Mrs. America competitor?
If you're thinking about it at all, go for it. It took me 2 years before I finally entered Mrs. Indiana. It was something that I was kind of tossing around. I competed my first year. I loved the experience and came back and won my second time. But what I loved most about it was not the winning, but seeing the transformation that I went through and just seeing how I was rediscovering the woman that I am and just how it's made me a stronger wife and mother.
Well, if you want to follow Rachel's journey as Mrs. Indiana, you can follow her on Instagram and get more information about the pageant system at indianamichiganpageants.com. Thanks so much, Rachel.
Thank you.